Thank you. Hi everyone. Cup of tea, you may have seen that. Can you please let me know? Hello, Jeff. Can you let me know, please, that you can hear me and see me? You won't see me for the entire webinar because we're going to put on a slideshow. It's not death by PowerPoint. Don't worry about that. So if you can please let me know, type in the chat box that you can see me and hear me. If maybe you can't, that'd be fantastic. And then we can crack on. Yes, good, excellent. Thank you very much. And then what I will do now is I will share my screen and we will go into the PowerPoint and get started. If you could also let me know that you can also see the PowerPoint presentation, please. Let me flip back through it. So let me know you can still see the page. That'd be great. And you should probably still see my mug at the bottom right of the page. Excellent. Thank you, Jimmy. Jimmy, is that Jimmy London by any chance? Perhaps. Jeff. It could be Jeff the koala, or it could be another Jeff. Excellent. Okay, so there's a few more people joining. Fantastic. All right, we've got quite a few people on now. So we will get started because time is of the essence. Okay, good. It is Jimmy London. So we've got Jimmy London on here and we've got Jeff. So all experienced service accommodation guys along with renter at HMOs. Jimmy's on like 40,000 plus per month. So awesome. Good. Any questions for Jimmy? Let us know and we'll get him to answer. So let's go. So what we're going to talk about tonight is the property cash flow system. Now, this is a system that myself and Emmanuel, along with a bit of a psychedelic psychologist guy, a couple of them actually, and a couple of NLP guys we spoke to over the last couple of months to make sure that what we teach in our courses is memorable. And it needs to be memorable, not just on the day, because we're finding, the stats are 40-50% of people, people retain 40-50% of the information. So we want to try and get that into 75-80. So this is why we've done this. And it's so much easier to teach as well, which means it must be easy to learn. So it's a process, it's a system. Lots of people love systems. So we put it together. There was lots of requests for it. I did the first trial, if you like, in December. I got people to come back for November. They came back for free for the December one as well. We also had the new people come in. And the feedback was that, mate, it's so much better. It was amazing before, but now it's like a main balls, if you want. So I don't know who said that, someone on TV. So we're quite happy with that. And the second one will be next Saturday. Anyway, let's crack on and teach you something first. So what are you going to learn today? So we'll put a few things up here, but it'll be more than that. And your questions that you put in, you'll also learn a lot more if you ask questions. The better the questions, the better the answers. So the property cash flow system, what is it? You learn that. You learn about the core, which is the C of the cash flow, and the most important. I say that, but every single thing here is super important. But if you have core correct, everything else will follow. So I'll give you examples of my properties, of students' properties. How you can start to earn money from service accommodation very quickly. And this is the commercial world. Now, business partner Emmanuel, Ezekiel, and myself, we met today. We went through a viewing in Oval. We also looked at a property that we're doing in Cambridge, another property. So we're steering away. We've been in residential now, or Emmanuel's been in residential now for about 25-30 years. He's been doing a lot of commercial stuff for the last 10 years. And myself, I've been in commercial probably for the last 3 years. And when you get into the commercial world of property, it's so much easier. There are no tenants to deal with, no headaches, and you can evict them immediately, or if you own a property with 28 days, it's awesome. Love it. Anyway, more on from there. And then the next steps, if you think that, hey, there's a bit more to learn, you're interested in this, and you think you can really get stuck in, then we'll tell you what you can do next. So up to you. Let's crack on. Obviously, thank you for joining. Remember our manners. Property cash flow system is what you're going to learn about. And as we said, it's designed to help you learn and earn money quickly. So, short and the long games. Now, some of you may know this if you're in business. Some of you may not. So we're going to teach you a little bit about it here. So the long game, if a lot of people who come to us being in property. Now, what I say when I say they're being in property, they've been to bloody 100 courses. They've spent thousands of pounds. They may have even been mentored. I've just taken on a mentee who has spent £45,000, and in fact, one of my business partners spent probably down 50 grand. Is now up beyond that because I'm business partners with them and they've earned money, and they're like, they don't have any webinars. They don't speak to us. They don't teach us. It's all about earning bloody money from courses. Now, speaking to Emmanuel again today about the courses we're doing. We've got another course, and we weren't going to run our advanced mentorship group this year, but everyone who came on it said, well, when can we do it? When can we do it? We need to come back. We need to bounce back on you. So we're now putting that on. It's different to service accommodation. So we're doing that because we also do lots of commercial developments and that type of stuff as well. And that's joining our family, if you like. That's what you get to learn. So the short game is your cash flow. The long game in property is your capital gain. So most people do it upside down. So they go out and they say, let's do commercial to resi, and let's do a flip, and let's do this. Now, let's be straight up, right? Man and I have discussed it. We're not going to teach people how to do flips and all this crap anymore because it is so saturated. You can walk into an agent tomorrow and say, hey man, I want a bungalow, I want to do this, and I want to make 20 grand. That's bullshit. It's gone out the window. It is so waterlogged that you're not going to make any money, and you're working on your long game, and it's going to take 9-10 months to get the 20 grand back in. Whereas what we can teach you with the short game is you get to the stage where if you want to earn 3 grand a month, 5 grand, 10 grand, 50 grand, or like Jimmy on here, you want to earn 40 grand plus with 29 properties, then hey, that's what we can do, and you can ramp that up very quickly. You can be earning that within 2 years. You can be earning 10 grand within a year. Depends on you, your makeup, and where you want to get to. Now, I'm not giving you big numbers to try and impress you. This is shit that our students are doing. This is what we're doing. We've got over 30 grand a month in income now from our own properties. This is not including what we do on the long game. So we've got loads of other stuff that we do on the long game, but what we're talking about here is a short game. So if you do your short game first, you get your income, replace your job. Now, if your income from your job, your day job was 3.5 grand a month, that's what you need. We suggest you get to 5 grand before you get that up. So you've got your residual, you've got your income, you get disposable income. And in that way, you've got your short game taken care of. So you've got lots more time because you're not working full time, and you can take care of the long game. Or you can start to morph the two into each other. So, and as I said, most ignore the short game because somebody said to them, mate, I'll make you a millionaire in 12 months. Well, shit. Unless you get really lucky and, you've got lots of money, or you've got someone backing you with lots of money, then yes, that's possible. But you're going to have to find a project. It could take a couple of weeks, could take a couple of months, to 6 months, where you're going to make that £1 million. So don't believe all the hype and all the crap. And from there, you go to these courses, or you do whatever you got to do, and you're like, do I do the short game? Do I do rent to rent? Do I service accommodation? Do I do flips? Do I do bloody commercial? Do I do residential, commercial resi? Mate, I've had enough, because you're so overloaded on the information. You get 100 freaking emails here and there and every day. Then all of a sudden you just start to go delete, and then you say to yourself, you know what? I'm just going to do what I do every day. I'm going to work for someone else and pay for someone else's dream. So you get the information overload. You just get frustrated, overwhelmed, and that results in you doing nothing. Now, that is the ultimate end to somebody spending a load of money in something that they weren't really passionate about. So what I'm saying and what I'm asking you is, if you're passionate about making money in property, listen up. And we're going to help you from here on in. If you're not passionate about making money, from property, go and what's the time? 7:45? I don't know what's on. Dead Enders or Procrastination Street. Go and watch one of those and see what they're doing, because it's time better spent for you. So let's crack on. So why now? Why cash flow from property now? Why are we looking at service accommodation? Why commercial? Why? Well, answers here. So the service department industry, or service accommodation industry, whatever you want to call it, because there are different types of service accommodation, it's expanding worldwide. Now, the fact that it's expanding worldwide is good for us. Why, you may ask? Simply because we have people staying in our properties. Probably 60% of people staying in our properties do not live in the UK. They either live in Europe. We get lots of Chinese visitors. We get Americans, etc. Blah blah blah. So the fact that the whole world is now adopting to this industry means that travelers, business and leisure, they recognize the benefits of what we're doing and how we do it, and the benefits of staying in somebody's service accommodation, as in like a flat, apartment, or a house, or whatever it might be. They see the benefits of this, and the more people that do it, they then spread the word. It becomes viral. Guess what? Now, so far, these figures here, I'm giving you old figures here that are 6 months old, simply because there are no numbers yet for the end of 2017. So the statement says, so far this year, Airbnb, this is just Airbnb, and there's 215 channels globally, but some that you might recognize are Booking.com, Expedia, Trivago, Hotels.com, Expedia, TripAdvisor, probably say Expedia twice. So there's some of the ones that you might have heard of, but there's so many more. So Airbnb is already, this is in July 2017, already accommodated more than 50 million guest arrivals. Now, guest arrivals does not mean per person, as in this is like a booking, guest arrivals. And some of our bookings, we have 5, 6, 7, 8 people. So it's not 50 million people, it's like bookings, which puts the company on track to pass 100 million this year, up from 80 million last year. Now, here are the numbers here. For the last, since 2009, the last 9 years almost. Now, you can see when they started it, don't forget, this is just Airbnb. When they started in 2009, 21,000 guest arrivals. It could be 50,000 people, 100,000 people. But you know now that this is a booking. And then look at the increase from 2009 to 2010. So the word is spreading. Go onto Airbnb. You don't have to stay in a hotel. Then we go up to 2014. Well, so that's what, 5 years. And they've gone to 16 million. Now, in 2 years, they went from 16 million to 80 million. And as I said to you there on the previous, they're looking at 100 million. Now, they will be way beyond the 100 million guest arrivals in 2017. Now, this is 100 million bookings that we can get a chunk of. Now, this is only Airbnb. You've got booking. Booking is like 10 times as big. Then you got home away in America. Well, home away, not home and away. Home away is the America's biggest one, which is part of VRBO and all that type of stuff. But you'll learn that if we see you on the weekend. So here's a share of the travelers who used Airbnb in the last 12 months. 14, 15, 16, and the 17 is the estimate, obviously. Now, the one on the left are the business travelers. Now, if you remember when I said about the expanding industry, etc., and travelers, both leisure and business, these are the ones we focus on, and now starting to adopt to staying in service accommodation. You can see that they're fairly line ball. Now, on Booking.com, for us, we're probably 50-50 as well. Expedia, we're probably more leisure travelers. TripAdvisor, more leisure travelers as well. But Airbnb and Booking.com, we're about 50-50, and they're the two biggest. So the types of service accommodation. So the first one, what you may think that you know about, is a simple service apartment. So it's people used to call it like a self-contained or whatever it was, and it's normally within a residential building, like a block of flats or someone's house, etc. We tend to rent out the entire property. We don't do it by the room because there's stuff comes into it there. So it's much easier to do it by the property. Sometimes we have staff on site, sometimes we don't. We'll teach you about automation, so you don't have to be there, or semi-automation, or no automation. It can be that you turn up on your own. So so with us, we do kind of 50-50. We'll do some meet and greets where there's a person there, and sometimes we do automated. We find that the reviews are much better when we actually turn up, because you can answer their questions there. People like that human touch. And then there's apart hotels. One of our students you'll hear about as we go along. He's got 2 apart hotels, 25 in total apartments, and he's now like on 500,000 plus in the last, I think it's 10 months. So good income. Yes, that's £500,000. So they're fantastic as well, and becoming lots more popular as well, especially with the major hotels, because the major hotels are now reacting to what service accommodation world is doing, and they're starting to like build suites themselves and do that type of thing. And then we look at corporate housing. Corporate housing tends to be longer stays, and there is a benefit for the VAT coming down to about 4 or 5% for corporates who stay for that long as well, and that can be executives who are like having a sabbatical somewhere, or they've been relocated, or whatever it might be, because there might be someone from America, and we've had a guy like this from America comes over for 7 months. He said, needs someone to stay, need a home from home, and I'm bringing my kids and that type of thing, and they get tutors for the kids and what have you. So corporate housing is made. So service departments, what you probably do know about, which is just like, if you can see my house here in my office, you can rent out this house, or I can rent out a room, or whatever it might be. And then there's apart hotels where you control the whole block, and you can do all of these rent to rent, or you can buy them. And then there's corporate housing where you dress it up so it's more business orientated with printers, etc., and what have you. And then it's more long term. Corporate housing you'd be looking at if you were close to like a big company like Rolls-Royce, where there's maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people working there. You don't want to be in corporate where there might be a couple of hundred people working there, because it's going to be pretty hard to fill your property. So you need to be near a really big business park or something like that. So what is the cash flow system? Good question. Here it is here. So what we're going to talk about today is the core, a little bit about liquidity, being money and how you pay for it. And then obviously the most important thing is, how do you get paid? Your wages. This is what we want to know, right? So the core, C-O-R-E. C stands for central. Now, central, it can be, how should we explain it? So central, let me explain the basics. There's a 10-minute walk to the center of town. So if it's going to be, let's say, I don't know, Birmingham, you want to be, your property needs to be no more than a 10-minute walk away from the center. Simply because the psychology, if you're walking longer than 10 minutes, you start to check your watch. Where are we? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And if you're checking it on the way there, it's going to be even worse on the way back. And then people won't stay, and they'll be like, it's too far out. Plus, if you start to advertise your property as it's a 20-minute walk, I mean, for me, 20-minute walk, that's fine. But 20-minute walk means it's 40 minutes out of your day just to get there and back. And if you start to say 30, 35-minute walk, 40-minute walk, forget it. You ain't going to do it, because it's a taxi ride, right? And if people stay with kids, 10 minutes is the perfect time. Now, when I say central, it may not be that it's central to the middle of town. It may be that it's 10 minutes away from, let's say, Rolls-Royce, where there's 4,000 people working up in Derby. But it could be that it's a half-hour walk into the town. So that's where you would adopt the corporate housing model. The corporate housing model, you're not really going to pick up on your booking in Airbnb. You're going to pick up more direct bookings via the big companies. So what I would do, little secret here, and this is what we do in the commercial world, right? So in the commercial world, what we'll do is, and here's a little bit of insight and private mentoring. What we'll do is we'll find a street, and we'll find an empty property. It's got to be a high street or a street off the high street. And we'll say, right, okay, let's buy that. Now, the amateur would go in and say, yes, let's buy that. It's 250 grand. I shall put my money down and I shall take it. But the fact is, a commercial property is pretty much worthless unless it has a lease. And if it's empty, it doesn't have a lease, because commercial property is based on the income, right? So what we would do, don't tell me on, what we would do is we would look at the property and we would go out and say, all right, let's get a pre-let. Now, a pre-let, P-R-E-let, is you get an agreement, and this is very standard, stock standard, basic form. There's a lot more to it. So if you get a pre-let with, say, someone like Nero, Costa Coffee, any high street brand like that, it's kind of not a bookstore, because they can buy that shit on Amazon and online and that type of stuff. They can buy a coffee online, but they can't buy an experience online, right? So you want to make sure that you can go to these companies and say, look, we've got this property. It's this big, it's that big. We're going to do a refurb on it, but we want to make sure that we did a refurb to suit what you want to do. How does that sound? That sounds really good. We're really looking for in that area at the moment, so we'll look at it later. So you go to the next person. Yes, actually, you know what? That sounds perfect for us to come and have a look. You write a pre-let up. Now, this is a similar thing that you can do in corporate housing. So what you would do is you would go to Rolls-Royce, let's say, use that example. You'll get an agreement drawn up between you and say, look, yes, we have a demand for this type of property. If they're looking for 2-bed properties, don't go out and get 3- and 4-bed properties. If they're looking for 4- and 5-bed properties, don't go out and get 2-bed properties. So what you're doing is you're not building it and hope they'll come. You're saying, oi, come here and have a look. What do you think? You like the area? Yeah. Right. We'll get the properties for you. You do it in reverse. And that's how we do the commercial stuff, because then we get the pre-let. We take the pre-let, go, look, here's what they've agreed, 30 grand a month, whatever. All of a sudden, that 250,000 property is worth 600,000 pound property. We can borrow against that and pretty much get paid to buy the property. Good, fantastic. And you can, believe it or not, do this in service accommodation, because a lot of these shops or commercial properties have flats above. We would then turn those into service accommodation, double up 2 types of commercial property. Fantastic. And you are actually diversifying your portfolio. Awesome. So central, good. Operations. If you've got central right, operations is going to be right. Now, operations is your daily running of the business. It could be that if you're doing meet and greets, you're doing that. It could be that the cleaners are going in every 2, 3, 4 days or whatever it is. You have minimum stays. So you want to make sure that if you're in Birmingham, we'll say again, and your property is a 40-minute walk out of town, it's going to be very hard for you to operate with cleaners. So you need to be nice and central. The same thing is if you live in Manchester and you're doing this in Birmingham, the operations are going to be really, really tough for you. So you need to make sure, if you've got the central bit right, the operation bits will normally follow. Now, there's a lot more to speak about on these different subjects, and that's obviously why we have a whole day to do it. So I'm kind of giving you the absolute basics here now, but it will give you some idea. If you wanted to go and do this on your own now, you're going to screw up big time, because you need to know everything you need to know. So whether you get it from us or someone else, that's up to you, but you need to know everything. Realty is property, right? Real estate. Now, I touched on it before that if you're going to go corporate housing, you need to pick the central area, make sure it's operational, and then you need to make sure that you've got the right properties. And it could be the company's dictating what property to you, or it could be that there's a certain type of property in the area that fits and the numbers fit, in crunch numbers, that fits. That's the type of property that we go for. It probably takes me a good couple of hours to work out what the property is going to be. There is a specific property type that we choose now, which is fairly generic across the board for serviced apartments and mostly apart hotels. Corporate housing is dictated by the company. So remember that. Don't just go and get a 1-bedroom property and think, yeah, I'm going to fill it with corporate. Go to the corporate and ask them. Good. So realty, and also you need to know that there's an absolute supply for you. There's no point in going to an area that's either saturated or there are no properties or no one wants to bloody stay there. So again, there's different research that we do to make sure of that. And on that, if you're looking at doing rent to rent, and you have very little money, we like to use opium, which is my business partner Emmanuel and Ezekiel comes up with that, and it is other people's money. So if you don't have your own cash input, you can use other people's money. We have lots of investors who come to us with very little time, but they have more money, whereas you may have a lot of time but very little money. So we kind of marry people together. Not everyone who comes to us has the ability to go out and do service accommodation, but they want a piece of the pie because they know it's so lucrative, so they'll invest in either you or me or us, etc. We also use other people's properties, is where the rent to rent comes into. We obviously use other people's experience, which is where I come into play, and then other people on our private Facebook group, other people's knowledge, which is what we're going to teach you on the day, and other people's connections. Sorry, I've got a bit of cold at the moment, so I'm sipping drink, excuse me, to soothe my throat. Other people's connections. So this is your network, and you grow your network, and you start to get more deals from different people. They hear about what you're doing, etc., etc., etc. And a team. You need to build yourself a team, and the team is not. Don't get put off by team. A team, like for me, I have managers who manage properties for me. And we have Tony who does the service accommodation. He does an awesome job. You may have an accountant as well to make sure that you're not paying too much tax or any. You don't need a solicitor because we have our own in-house solicitor that you can use. And these are the guys who've written all of our documents as well. And you get all of these given to you for included in the price. And then E, the other part of the core, is E. Now, E is more related to the guest, not to you. Pardon me, I'll just mute. Pardon me. So E stands for experience. It's not your experience. It's the experience of the guest. Do you think that the experience is going to be a good one for the guest if they've got to walk 30, 35, 40 minutes to your property and back, especially when it's cold and dark and miserable? It could even be raining. That's not a good experience on anyone's card. If it's 10 minutes away, they're willing to sort of dodge through puddles and run for 10 minutes, right? That's fine. Also, you've got to think about the property. Now, if you're trying to attract a high-end type of customer and you've got HMO furniture in your property, it ain't going to look good. And there's going to be no wow factor. And you want people to walk into your property and go, wow. You know, walk out onto the balcony or walk out the back door and look at the garden or look at the river view or the city view, whatever it might be, and go, wow, this is amazing. Because you want them taking out their phone and you want them taking photos and spreading the news on WhatsApp, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it might be. And it will help you with your advertising. It will also help you with repeat bookings. It also helps you with your review. So you can get 10s on booking.com and you can get 5s on Airbnb. And your bookings will help you because it will put you up the top of the list without you having to do anything else. So awesome. The experience, you know, if you're going to do face-to-face check-ins, the experience is always going to be better because if they're at the door, they're fumbling with a key box, and we always have CCTV that we can talk back to. So we do an automated check-in, and they're fumbling with the box. We go, "Hello, are you okay? Is everything all right?" Yeah. What we have to do is pinch the top together. It will fall down. Put in the code, and the key will fall out. And 99 times out of 100, that's fine. And they're like, "Oh, thank you so much." So, especially we find with international travelers who may not be used to that type of thing as well, it helps a lot. Communication is the key. So, joint venture partners, as I said, joint venture partners come in many shapes and sizes. If you're going to joint venture with anyone, please always make sure you have a heads of terms, or a HOTS as people call it. Just get something in writing at both sides to say, yes, this is the way it's going to go. It just helps further down the track. Core. So take care of the core, central operations, realty, and experience, and you will be successful beyond your beliefs. If you have the right property, you can operate the property nice and close. There's plenty of properties available. And if you're going to go down the corporate route, you can choose the property so you know that you're going to have the right property. And the experience is super, super, super important. The experience can be something like, I'm 6'2" and I'm a big guy. Like, if I get a normal towel, like, what am I going to do with this? Put in the big towels. It's like going to cost you an extra 20 quid a month or whatever. Put in the big towel. You want someone to go, wow, it's a nice big towel. It feels great. You don't want someone going, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? Don't put in cheap bloody soaps and shampoos. Put in the good stuff. It's like an extra 20 quid a month. It doesn't matter. And you'll get reviews on it. It works for you, believe me. So rent to rent or purchase? Well, it's up to you guys. Most people, in fact, I would say 95% of people that we deal with and we've taught and to go on and are successful work on rent to rent because they're coming to us to take care of their short game first and then they can get into the long game. Now, if you're looking to purchase, it's a different story in a way. You still need your core. You still need the whole cash flow system. It just means that you can go out and you can give someone money and say, yeah, I'll have that. But if you remember at the start, that's not how we buy properties. We kind of do everything in reverse so that then we know exactly what we've got. And we've got a guy, Michael, who's our commercial broker who you can talk to if you like, and we can put you in touch with to help you actually buy service accommodation properties. Cool. The really good thing about this business, and it is a business, please do not think any differently of it. It is a business. You need to run it like a business. You're going to need a business name because if you're going to do rent to rent, you cannot take on any properties on a company let without a business name. You're also going to need to have an accountant to take care of the cash that's coming in and make sure that he manages your tax and that type of stuff. I know it sounds a little bit scary, but these are some of the game rules that you got to play with, and it's super easy. I could even put you in touch with accountants if you want to deal with accountants. So, but let's not jump the gun. Let's get you started first. So it's super quick setup. I've got guys who have been in business before, and all different types of business. They've been in pubs, they've been in restaurants, the garages, MOT shops, scooter shops, optometrists, you name it, all type of things. And even my wife runs children's tertiaries, and the thing that you find with a standard business is it takes you at least 2 or 3 years to pay yourself, because there is so much money that you have to put into it, and you can't actually pay yourself from a business unless you make a profit normally. So with this, it's quick setup. You know, we've had properties we've set up in 48 hours. Yes, there's a few days before that to get all the paperwork done. So let's say it takes a week. Even if it takes 2 weeks, you've got it set up, you've got bookings coming in, you can start paying yourself the following month, if not, at the latest, the second month after that. So it's really quick to make a profit as well. As long as you take care of the core and the whole cash flow system. Fast turnover, fast profit, as we said. And you're probably asking yourself, how much can you make? Well, let's have a look, give you some examples. Nigel, we spoke about with the 2 apart hotels. This is out of date now because we are actually in the 9th month, 10th month maybe now, in February, and he's way past the $500,000 mark now. So he started with us in November 2016. So what are we looking at? That's 14 months. He got a deal after that, which means it's now, let's say, 10 months. So he got a deal, let's say, in what would that make that? I don't know, April, and he got these 2 deals, and he started with 0 money. Now we spoke about JV partners, etc. We talk about other people's money, opium. This is exactly the model that Nigel adopted to do this. Good, brilliant. And I can hear you saying now, some of you, oh, there's no way I can make that money in that time. You get what you think. Now, I thought he could. What did he get? He got it. Well done. Tim Dix, he's got 8 properties now. I can't see the bottom bit, so I hope it says 8. Yeah, he's got 8. He's now working on his 9th and 10th. He's working on 2 different areas that he lives smack bang in the middle of. So he's got all the core taken care of, and he got those in 6 months. He's now been doing this 8 months. He's got a couple more that he's got in the bag at the moment. Just got to go live, and that's his helicopter behind that he took me to France in for 3 days, and just say thanks for the help. So I said, yeah, no problem, I'll come. And the funny, I'll tell you a story about Tim. Tim and I are sitting there in France, and we're sitting there having a beer, watching the world go by outside. You know how they do al fresco. And I got my phone. I said, hey, Tim, let's have a bit of a competition. Tim looks at me, he says, sure, I'm up for a competition. I said, check your phone. Well, actually, I said, check your Pulse. Now, Pulse, if you can see it, Pulse is an app that basically tells you all of your booking.com bookings that are coming in. And we also check the Airbnb. So they're the 2 ones. So you get pinged from the other ones. You check your 2 key channel manager. So he says, yeah, what's the game going to be? So I said, right, at the end of the 3 days, we're going to see who has the most bookings and the most revenue, as in the most profit. He says, yeah, sure, no problem. Let's go. And I hate to say it, but he actually beat me. So the student made the teacher look like a numpty. And the point of the story is that you truly, once you've got this set up, you can make money in your sleep. You know, I wake up sometimes and I'm like, yeah, cool. Another booking, 2 bookings, 4, 5, 6, 10 bookings overnight. Depends how many properties you've got. And it's amazing. And I showed my mates and I said, what are you doing now? And I said, oh, not much. Doing a bit of this, bit of that, being property. And they said, oh, yeah, how can I get into the service accommodation? You know, show me the stats. And I go, well, there you go. Have a look. This is what's coming in the last couple of hours. Well, we're having a beer. What have you earned in the last couple of hours? Well, nothing. I've actually spent money. So if you want part of that, that's what you can be part of. And that's why he's got to be smarter these days, Timbo. And he's the guy who owned the MOT garage. I gave him a target, a mentor. He came to my house for a one-to-one, and I said, look, it was November 19th, and I said, that's when you give up your garage. And big balls, he did it. And now he never looks back. He said, this is the easiest money I've ever made in my life. These guys here, Cam on the left and Sam on the right, or Sam in the middle, if it's not quite left, right. They've even got their own van. And actually, I won't read it all to you, but I had a message from Sam today, from Ferndale. And we need to update this because he's actually now got keep you updated. Offer accepted. We're putting offers on the 14th simultaneously today, tomorrow. Been busy working on infrastructure, automation, systems, etc. Calv and I say Calv and his brother, they're coming on Saturday. Actually, if you're coming on Saturday, they're coming for a refresh, so you can actually hear from these guys direct. And he's asking for a one-to-one, etc. But basically, I get updates to these guys. I mentor these guys. So then I've got 14 properties, which would put them probably into the 15 and a half grand mark. And that's now in 7 months. I know I should update these, but that's a one-to-one at my house. So well done, guys. Calv on the outside on the left, he'd be one of these guys who've been to other property mentors and this type of thing. Not a lot to show for it. Sam came in, business guy, owned a scooter shop, wholesale shop. Let's go for it. And he's just full on bang, bang, bang. And his words were, again, easiest money I've ever made. So well done to Sam. This is Harvey. The numbers are not so big, but that's because Harvey got the money he needed. He now lives in Australia. He's emigrated. So well done, Harvey. He had a mission. He did what he needed to do. And there's Jimmy, and Jimmy's on here. So Jimmy's in a photo, and that's Jazreel on my left. Jimmy's with the watch. And this is strange though. We had a get together, and Jazz, who's a Sikh, he said, "Boys, I could organise us a whatever curry." So no worries, okay. So we actually go to a pub that's run by a Chinese guy that served as a carrier, one of the best carriers I've ever had. So we met another guy there called Michelle, who has, I think he pulls about 70 grand a month from his rent to rent. He had about 110 rent to rents in London. So he's not actually in the picture. So well done, Jimmy. Jimmy's got like a mixture of properties, not all 29 HMOs. Jimmy's also got a hotel where it's got like 9 rooms in and pulls in around about 10, 15 grand a month. And I think there might be some photos coming up. And I think, Jimmy, you got another one coming up. So if you can let me know, mate, if you're listening still, that'd be great. But I know you're working on other apart hotels. So well done, Jimmy. And then we have Napa. Napa, when he came to us, he had a job and he was okay. It wasn't like a huge job, and he lost his job, and then subsequently he had no money, so he didn't have a house, and he was homeless for a couple of weeks, living in his car, and he went on, and now he's got himself a brand new baby, and that's Emmanuel Ezekiel on with the grey hair. My business partner, Jack. We had a meeting last week, actually a one-to-one. Putting 11 grand profit in 2 years. He's now actually in a consolidation period to make sure that everything gets nice and balanced. He's working with his brother. So his brother Sam is now working. They're actually coming on Saturday as well. So it's going to be a big, happy family. So you can hear from all of these guys direct. There's Anna Olsen in the middle. She started out working full-time. She was working for a big bank, a Citibank, something like that. And then we have with us there Neville Wright, as a friend of ours. His kids go to a nursery. He builds about over 600 houses a year, has 150 plus commercial properties. He started up Kitty Care, sold it for 70 million. He's now worth 100 million because he's topped it up with his property. So good guy to know, in his 70s, and just it's like he's 20 years old. And Donna Molinari, not our latest student, but one of our latest students that joined us on the mentorship. She's working in there, and she's working full time for a very big multinational company. She said to me, like, I've got a plan, I've got this, I've got that, let's go for it. And I said, sure. Where are you going to get the time? She said, I will find time. Every second Wednesday, she takes a day off or half a day off, goes and does viewings. Saturday, she goes and do viewings. She's sealed 2 properties. She's just got 3 now, 2 are live. The other one's going to go live in the next couple of weeks. And she's loving it. So, and again, she had no money of her own. She's got a business partner we put her together with. The business partner is super happy. She's taken on, I think in the first 2 weeks, she got like 15 grand of bookings. So well done, Donna. And Donna is also going to be there Saturday. And she's going to give a little 10-minute talk about what it's like to start up and do your first summer service accommodation and how to make money in your first month. So that will be interesting to hear. Excellent. The reason I'm saying they're going to be there is this photo kind of paints 1,000 words, if you like. Is that the saying? I'm really shit with saying. So sit with winners, and the conversation is completely different. Obviously, there's Bill Gates there talking to Warren Buffett. And a lot of people say, wouldn't you love to be a fly on the wall there? Well, absolutely. Well, we're the same. Like people say, Emmanuel and I were sitting down today and had a phone call from a couple of people and said, oh, I'd love to be on a fly on the wall there. What are you guys planning? Because we don't sit down and talk about freaking procrastination street and dead enders and that shit. We don't talk about crap. In fact, we don't even talk about sport. We both love sport. We talk about what we're going to do in property, how we're going to do this. And today, we met at 10:30. I left him at 2:30, and for probably 90% of the time, it was all property. Let's talk. And I teach him stuff. He teaches me stuff. We put in offers, etc., etc. So what makes all these people successful? And what makes, there's loads of others apart from this. Jeff's on here. Jeff's successful. He's done really well from his apartment and in London. So they all follow a system. It's a system that we teach you. Now, the system has been upgraded, which is good for you because this system will probably last now for about another 5 years or more. And that's the cash flow system. We didn't have that in place. So it wasn't as simple to follow, but people are still making obviously a lot of money because it's about the action you take more so than anything. So they follow a system, and this is a system that Donna's following. Some of these people are coming up for a refresh because they want to refresh on the actual cash flow system, and that's why they're doing it. So I haven't given you all the cash flow system here. because it would take us too long. Obviously, it takes us a whole day. So to look, how do these properties look? So that's a studio. We don't tend to take on studios, but that is actually one that's in a part hotel where a majority of the properties are 2 beds. We looked at one in Cambridge today that has 7 beds, 2 a studio at the top, 2 1 beds, and then the other 4 are 2 beds. But we know it works in certain areas. One of our students, this is Ben Watson, Birmingham. You got to dress the property up, make sure it looks lived in, so you can paint the picture. Get your photos taken to advertise it. These are Hammersmith. Hammersmith, slightly different again, a bit more sort of masculine, shall we say. This is also a period home, so that what I'm saying is doesn't always have to be an apartment. Another one here, gated development at the back, and the photo on the right is showing the most popular restaurant cafe in the area, which is good. You can advertise that. Another one, a period home at the front, and inside more modern up the top. The red, I don't really go for the red, but a lot of people do. I'm not a red person. This is Calvin Sam. This is one of their 4-unit apart hotel in Heathrow. And when they took it on, I spoke to them 2 days afterwards, and they said, mate, we can't talk, we can't for a one-to-one. We are inundated with bookings, which is good. Excuse me. My wife's giving me some champagne, some good news today. I've got tea and water, so sorry if I drink the champagne. Another nice, bright, sort of white area. You can see inside there, it's fairly neutral, that one, but you got the splashes of color. You can see at the bottom right, you got the nice blue cushions to sort of bring up the colors as well. Nice, modern, bright kitchen. We don't like kitchens with that bloody wood look and the black tops, because that's just 90s, 2000 crap. And it's cheap. It's what we used to put in like cheap flips. So you don't want it to look cheap, right? And this is one of Donna Molinari's, and I'm so proud of her. Look what she's done. This one is her first apartment. This is amazing. She has followed the core system, the cash flow system, to the T. Look at the beautiful bright kitchen. No wood in there. TV on the wall. You've got the nice pictures on the wall. Obviously, she's got the Cinquecento, the Fiat 500, the Italian part in her. It's got a nice, beautiful sunken lounge. You can see upstairs, even though it's got the like the eaves, if you like, with the slope roof, the windows are still nice and big and airy, and there's plenty of room in there. We put in singles there because sometimes you can actually push them together if you have zip link beds. And the majority of that property actually came furnished, so awesome work. So limited cost there on that one as well. So, and that's the one that she's already pulled in 15 grand for in the first like week or two. So awesome work. Well done, Donna. So if you're there on Saturday, you can hear all about how she got that. Now I went to view that with her, with the agent, and because that's what I do. I go out with people and make sure to get the agents on board. The agent just keeps bringing the stuff now. In fact, he bought the other one. Most importantly, when you're setting a property up, especially like that one there of Donna's, think about the experience. Think like a guest. How would a guest feel? Now, if you go into that one there, you're even probably saying now, wow, looks great. So if you walked into that now as a guest, you go, wow, fantastic. And everything's nice and comfortable. We've got safe beds and that type of thing. So create your service accommodation with your guest in mind, not you. The only time you think about you is when you look at the numbers and the profit and that type of thing. So somebody just said that the pictures are not showing, but there's no one else complaining about that. Can everyone see? Sorry, Russell, I'm not. It could be your bandwidth or something like that. Hopefully everyone can see. No more complaints. So maybe it's just your bandwidth, something, Russell. Sorry, mate. There is a recording that comes out afterwards, so you would probably be able to pick that up anyway. It'll be out tomorrow morning about 6 a.m. So, information alone, which I've told you some of, I could tell you until I'm blue in the face all about how we make money in the property. You walk away and you go, do you know what? I just spoke to this dude and listened to this dude on the webinar, and he told me this, and this sounds so great, sounds awesome. Cool, great. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. What do you mean you're going to do nothing about it? No, I can't be bothered because I've got to go and watch the next box set of freaking orange people or black. Orange is a new black or whatever it is, or freaking Guns of Rome or Games of Thrones or whatever. I'm so shit at these things. Games of Thrones, is that it? Yeah. You think you got something better to do? With me, it's like my hobby is making money. And I say my hobby is making money because to me, it's not work. For me, work is getting up with the alarm clock at 6 a.m., getting my suit on, getting in the car, going to the train station, getting in the freaking train with all these other people. It's raining, it's cold, and everyone's walking around on the phone. I wish I wasn't here checking where to go on holiday. What's on Facebook, because I can see what my friends are doing on Facebook because it makes me feel so much better. They get on the train, they don't look at anyone, they're on the Facebook. And now the trend is headphones. I don't want to hear anyone. I don't want to hear a thing. Everyone's got headphones on. It used to be just phones. Now it's phones and headphones. I am completely void to what's going on in the world. They get to work. All they have to do is put the phone down. They sit at the desk. They take their headphones off. They get click, 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 click. And that's the freaking life. And then, poof, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever. Oh, back to train, headphones on, phone on. It's like these weird, like zombies walking around. I was in London today and I experienced that. I'm looking at people laughing. They're looking at me. I'm not laughing, I'm smiling. They look at me like, what the fuck are you so happy, man? What's going on? And I'm walking around in my trainers and whatever. And then it's just that's just an existence. That's not life. And you do it for 5 days a week. Do you know what? I'm not being a prick to you because I've done that and I did it for many years. And I've always said to myself, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not doing this shit. I'm not going to prison every day and then getting released to go home. And if you've got kids like I have, then you're coming home, you get home, 7, 8 o'clock, they're probably in bed. You don't get to see them during the week. If you do, it's like little kids. I don't know. So you get to see them on a weekend when you're knackered. Your weekends when you're working 5 days a week are freaking recovery. Anyway, enough of that. So think about what you would do if you didn't have to. The words are, you didn't have to earn money every day. Remember I was telling you about me and Tim sitting there clicking away in France? This is something where you're sitting there earning money. So you're not having to actually go away and earn money. We're doing this like on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's not like a weekend because we can go when we want. We're planning a trip to Rome. Jimmy, you coming? So you got income coming in no matter what you're doing. You could go, I was in Valencia and we're hanging out. And I said to my wife, I said, I'm going to go and do a webinar. She said, what are you going to do, a webinar? Just relax on the beach. I said, I'm going to do it from the beach. Okay, cool. Let's do it. And, we do webinars from the beach. And that was just telling people about automation, how you can do automation. The thing is, if you've got a computer and you can automate, you can do it from anywhere. So the strategy is, and you haven't learned it, you just found out what it is. The strategy is cash flow, the property cash flow system. And we're doing it using service accommodation. There's no issue with Article 4, no issues, whatever. Once you know the strategy, if you come on Saturday, you'll learn the strategy inside out. Then, remember I said, information alone is not enough. You then got to get off your ass and execute and do this shit. Now, you saw people like Jimmy and Donna and Harvey and Sam and Calv and Tim and Nigel on there. Do you think they would have got to where they are without getting off the backsides? No chance. You have to go out and execute something. You're going to learn to drive. If you never drive a car again, you're going to forget how to drive the car. So you have to take action with anything that you do. And if you take our strategy and follow it to the T or to the letter, the cash flow, the core, etc., you will be successful. It's virtually guaranteed because you will have the right property in the right area with the right experience. You're going to win. You're going to win. It's virtually impossible not to win. So, as I said, above all else, this is your business. We work on our business, not in it. To explain it, think of a cleaner. Rubbing, cleaning. Go on, £10 an hour, thank you, bye. Wherever they get paid now. Go on, they go on to the next one. Boom, 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 boom. Unless they're working, they're not earning money. So the way a cleaner should make money is leverage other people's time, get other cleaners coming out. I'll take a cut of what you earn. So you're leveraging more money. So instead of earning £10 an hour, you might be earning 15, 20, £30 an hour, but you're still only cleaning the same one thing. You could be earning £50 an hour, £100 an hour, because other people are doing the work for you. So, and then you get to the stage where you don't actually have to work in the business anymore. You work on the business and control all the people that do the cleaning. It's a similar thing that we do. You can ramp up very quickly. You've seen there, Nigel, 25 within 8 months. Jimmy, 29 within 2 years. It was slightly less than 2 years. Excuse me, sorry. Seek help from proven experts. Myself, people like Jimmy, and the other people that you've heard from there on the group. It's on our private group on the Facebook. Take action every day. You know, you have a holiday. Have a holiday when you've got it ramped up. Don't take a holiday when you just go, okay, I found a property. Fuck it, I'm going on a holiday. And entrepreneurs don't relax. We're always on. Now, if you're not an entrepreneur, you won't understand that, because you'll say to yourself, hang on a minute, I thought entrepreneurs do this so they can relax. Well, I can tell you what. Even if I'm sitting on the beach and I'm laying there, I'm still thinking about what's the opportunity, what can we do here, what differently. So you have these little epiphanies that come to you and you're like, mate, if I could just do that, and I'll quickly, sorry, wife, got to call Emmanuel. Emmanuel, yeah, what about if we do this and get good idea, do that? Yeah, bang. Okay, I'll speak to you later. Got to go. Because you're always thinking about something. Now, if you're working in a 9-to-5 job and you're on holiday, the last thing you want to think about is work ever, because it's not going to do you any good. Because you may be on a fixed income or whatever, so there's no point. You go on holiday to get away from work. Whereas when I go on holiday, I'm like, oh, bugger, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So anyway, what you get from me, we talked about Saturday. I've written a manual all about rent to rent. If you want to do this rent to rent, you get the whole one-day masterclass and all the exercises. This is the whole cash flow system. We don't get you onto the course and then say you've got to go on a 2 or 3 or 4 day course afterwards to learn the rest. This is an intensive one-day masterclass. It is hard work. You start at 9, you finish at 6. The longest I've gone is until 10 o'clock, but I had a few people that were just so intense and want to ask questions. You don't have to stay until 10. It finishes at 6. If you want more questions, we have a beer after, we have a couple of drinks, and we can stay after. You can get more information from me. But the course will start from 9 and finish at 6. It's dead on. We've timed it. You'll get all the essential documents you need. I'm talking, all of your company let agreements, every single agreement you need, all your management agreements and that type of stuff. If you need a management agreement, you don't always need one. All the legal contracts you need from my solicitor, they've cost thousands of pounds over the time because they've been rehashed and changed to suit the current market. JV partners, you'll meet. Energetic training from me. We're pretty full on. We'll go, and you have a laugh. We have a laugh on the day, because if you're not having fun, you're not learning, right? Full follow-up support from me personally on the Facebook group. That's for both rent-to-rent HMOs and service accommodation, and the purchase if you need it. So here's the Facebook group, snapshot of it. And the key point there is peer group support and accountability. So if I find people not going on there, it's like, well, what are you doing? And sometimes I'll, call people to action. I'll put something on there that says, how's everyone deals going at the moment? Who's got deals? So we teach you the systems if you want to automate as well. So we do have a special offer. The manual, we've sold it for £1,000 plus VAT. You get the whole one-day course. The one-day course, there are people out there charging like 1,000, 1,500 quid or more. It's crazy. And it also includes forms, all the contracts, as I said. Solicitors do cost a lot of money, but we've handled that all for you. Full lifetime support via the Facebook group. The calculators that we had drawn up. Scripts for agents and landlords. Very important, probably priceless, more so than worth £2,000. And the legal docs, etc. Conservatively, you'd spend 10 grand getting all that set up, and that doesn't even include the time that you spend and the time that you spend writing that manual, which took me a few weeks. So we're also going to give you a money back guarantee. If by the morning break, which is normally 10:30 actually, 10:30. If you think this Ash guy is a bit of a dickhead full of crap, or you think this is not for you, it's not for me, I don't know what's going on, I've got no idea, come and talk to me and say, Ash, mate, I've got to go. No problem, I'll give you money back, no questions asked. So if you purchase today or in the morning, because I know that some people need to go and speak to their spouse, we get this quite a lot after the webinars. Please can I do that? Sure. But you can bring a friend for free, and it can be your spouse, your partner, your friend, your sister, your brother, your uncle, mate, John down the road, whoever. You can bring whoever you want. You don't have to bring anyone, but it's your choice. And it's no charge for your partner or whoever you bring. Just let me know their name, and we'll go from there. We will. Your ROI you'll get in probably less than a month. Donna Molinari got it within a week. So it's up to you and how much action you take. So your investment today, it's only $497 plus VAT. If you bring another person, you split the cost. It will only cost you $248.50 each. The offer has just popped up. There is a 2-hour minimum on that. It's just so that we want you to take action. But if for some reason you can't action today, I will give you my email now in the chat box, which is, for those who maybe Russell can't see the screen for whatever, is Ash Banfield, BANFIELD, at gmail.com. That's ashbanfield@gmail.com. Please don't abuse my email. I'm being kind enough to give it out to you. So if there's any other questions you need to ask, you don't want to ask on here. Any questions that you do put on here are private. Only I can see them. No one else can. So here's a little timeline. So it's time and money. So when you go to work on a daily basis, if you do work, you go to work and you are swapping your time for money. So whether you work an 8-hour day or a 10-hour day or a 12-hour shift, you are swapping all of those many hours in return for money. If you are self-employed, as in a one-man band, you are pretty much doing the same thing. So it could be either you're a plumber, it could be a solicitor starting out working on your own. So you're doing everything, right? And then we come to business owner, which guess what? That's what we're doing with service accommodation. And if you treat this business right and leverage other people's time, money, knowledge, experience, etc., and properties, then you can start to expand your business. So you get 4, 5, 6. I mean, I know Jimmy's got people working for him. Nigel's got 3 or 4 people working for him, so that they can sit back and relax and do what they want to do. You know, they go on holiday to Ibiza, to Croatia, and where does Jimmy? Where does Nigel go? Cyprus, Spain, etc. Italy. We all go different places, right? Because a business owner then will start to build up residual income. Then from that, they will get disposable income that they can then choose to invest either in other operators, service accommodation operators like you and me, or they could choose to invest in buying their own properties. But either way, they're going to make money either from other people as an investor or other properties that will go up in price on average over 10 years. Or if you want to get sucked into Bitcoin, you chuck it on there, or put it on red or back in the casino. You got more chance. So when you get to business owner, which is what we are, and you can start to invest, you can see that they are the two who make the most money and put in the less time over time. So how to invest right now, you see it on the screen. You've got the book. It's got the little blue box that says invest in your future. Just let me know you can see that, please, and that you can just give me a thumbs up or whatever you do, or a yes. You can see that offer on there, and you can also see my email. And what I'll also do for you is I will put the link on there if you can't actually put your details in until the morning because you talk to the boss or whoever the boss might be. Good. Okay. Excellent. That's on there. So please let me know you can see that. A couple of you have said yes. So yeah, we look forward to helping you build your cash flow, which is your short game. Don't forget it's 497 plus VAT. You can use PayPal or credit cards through that system. And please join us on, take a screenshot if you want. Join us on Facebook. We've got Wealth and Success Academy. Myself and Emmanuel run that. We put lots of motivational stuff on there and information as well, education. If you go to our YouTube channel, we've got tons of videos on there teaching you more about service accommodation, automation, and also rent to rent and other stuff on property as well. You see a manual on there, talking with our business partners, Brett Allegra Wood, what have you. Brett Allegra Wood has a property company that pulls in 50 grand a month. He has another business that pulls in like 2.8 million a year or something like that. And he spends about 8 months traveling. And also in Instagram, we're on there too. We have a bit of fun on Instagram. So yeah, please join us there. Let's end the show and take some questions. If you have some questions, that would be great. You can see me again. I'm still here. Cheers. Congratulations. Gone. So yeah, let me see some questions. Good. Okay. Excellent. Let's just have a look here. What time does it start on Saturday? It starts at 9 o'clock and finishes at 6. I think I mentioned that, but just in case you missed it. Yes, it's the Marriott Hotel in Peterborough. Once you click on the link, you'll see all the information. There's also a lot more information there that it will show you what we teach you on today, all the cash flow system. Good. Do I mean I need a mortgage to get started? No, you don't, especially if you're rent to rent. Can you tell me a little bit about the 90-day rule in London? Any workarounds? Okay, let me tell you a little bit about London. London's cute. London has two things. London has the 90-day rule where the council says, hey, you can't let your property for any more than 90 days. Sorry, for any less than 90 days. So we get a bit stuck there because, you know, sometimes we'll have people come in for 2 or 3 nights and that type of stuff. Now, there is no workaround around it. Now, there's about 12,000 rooms, I think, of service accommodation currently operating in London. And yet, no one has ever been chased, penalised, etc., for breaking that rule. And then you look at the other thing with head leases. So head leases can be more of a problem than the 90-day rule. The 90-day rule is not a problem. And head leases, there's ways around it which I can't talk about here, which I can talk about on the day, and we go into this quite extensively for about probably 40 minutes about the whole thing around the London 90-day rule. Excuse me. So yes, is there a workaround? There is, but there's not. But I won't talk about it here. So sorry, Russell. I hope it helps, or it doesn't. But feel free to email me. Okay, good. Okay, no, you don't have to worry about the lease if it's freehold. In fact, I think about 70% of our properties are freehold. The ones where we do have leaseholds, we get permission anyway. Good. It's normally from the management company. And, you know, with any business, you can have the odd issue here and there, but you just got to deal with it. Good. Thank you very much. No problem. You're welcome. I won't say thank you to all the thank yous because it will sound a bit boring for you, but thank you all for your kind messages. Thank you. Okay, same question. Good. When can I get started? Start now if you like. Manual education, you can watch our videos on the YouTube channel. That will get you started. And if you're coming Saturday, and I can see a few pings there. Thank you for those who have ordered. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Good. It's like this. Look, it's like watching all the emails are pinging for the guys who are booking. So thank you very much, everyone who's booked. Thank you for putting your trust in us. It's a bit like sitting in France, getting your accommodation. Okay, I believe that VAT is a major consideration. It's easy to read the VAT threshold. Yeah, the VAT threshold is about 83k, and Nigel smashed through that already. I've smashed it. Most of us have smashed through it. So we use the HMRC TOMS approved operating scheme, and my accountant runs it for me. So we don't pay 20% VAT. As simple as that, and it's all governed. It's all approved by HMRC. So I don't know if you've been on forums where there's amateurs, keyboard warriors worrying about that, but it's not something that you have to worry about if you know how not to worry about it. Worry about it if you don't have the knowledge. So yes, that's a major factor in any business. Good, good, good. Okay. How quickly can I get to 83 grand? However quickly you choose. Good. Okay. Fantastic. Look forward to seeing all the people mentioned. Yeah, good. They're really good guys. You'll see why they are successful. You know, they're bright, they're bubbly, they're energetic. Good, good, good. Okay. I think looking at this now, we've probably got spaces for maybe 4 more people. So we're almost full. And we never take any more than 30 people in our class because people ask questions. Ideally, we want about 22, 24. And we're at about 24 now. So we don't want it too big. We like our classes nice and small so that we get maximum learning. Good, good, good. Good. See you there Saturday. Thank you. I have 23 rent-to-rents in London. It'd be good to talk to you about SA with my business partners. Is that possible? Yep, 100%, no problem at all. As you'll know, with rent-to-rent HMOs, it all changes from April, and it starts to be, it's going to be enforced after October with the lower room sizes and that type of thing. Good. Yes, feel free to give a call about that. Happy to talk about that. Okay. Yep, just on screen there. If you see the invest in your future, the blue button. I know the thing says it click green button below to book, but I think it looks blue on the screen to me. Maybe it's one of those things like what color do you see? But I see it as like a light blue. So click on that one. And sorry. And yes, it is the 2-for-1 offer. Okay, good. Good. Okay, I think that probably ends it. There's some questions in it, but they're pretty much the same questions I've answered already. So without further ado, I shall bring the webinar to an end. Thank you all for attending. Thank you for all staying on there to the end. Obviously, you're looking for lots of information. Please feel free to email me on anything you need in relation to this. And for those who are coming Saturday, I'll see you Saturday. I look forward to it. And thank you once again. As I said, the replay will be available. If you're listening now, it'll be available at 6 in the morning. If you're listening at 8 o'clock and it's 8 o'clock in the morning, you've already got it. So it's like one of those, don't vote now if you're watching ITV catch up. All right, guys, thank you. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to catching up again. Thank you. No, all the best to you too, Russell. I look forward to your email, and everyone else. Take care. Bye-bye.